Welcome to the GED Math 2025 test prep video from ultimateged.com. We've helped countless students pass, and we're confident we can help you too. Please watch the entire video for best results. For more support, check out our full course with over 200 step-by-step videos at ultimateged.com. Let's get started. Which of the following does not represent the graph of a function? To pass the GED math test, you must be able to identify functions, whether it's written in a table or a graph. For a graph to be a function, no x value can have multiple y values. We verify this on a graph by using the vertical line test. When we draw vertical lines, it cannot touch more than one point on the graph. Let's start with option A. We realize that no matter where we draw a vertical line, it touches just one point on the graph. So this is the graph of a function. Let's look at option B. When we draw a vertical line through, let's say, the 1, we will realize that it touched the graph at more than one point. That is 3 and -1. There are sections of the graph that when you draw a vertical line, it will touch more than one point. Because of this, it is not a function. So option B is the correct answer. You can check option C and option D to confirm the answer. Given the equation y equals 2x squared minus 5 times 2x minus 1 plus 3, find y when x equals 4. A. 23, B. 11, C. 0, D. 5. The work here is being able to replace values and also using the order of operations. We will replace the x with 4. So we have y equals 2 times 4 squared minus 5 times 2 times 4 minus 1 plus 3. Here is the order of operations. You can check out our video on order of operations if you need a detailed lesson. With the order of operations, we will perform the parenthesis first. So we have 2 times 4, which is 8. This minus 1. This will give us 7. Next, we will do the exponent. We have 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Next, we will do all the multiplications. We have 2 times 16. This is 32. Then we have 5 times 7. This is 35. Then finally we will do the addition and subtraction. 32 minus 35 is -3. Plus 3 is 0. So the correct answer is option C, 0. Please encourage us to post more videos by liking, sharing, and subscribing. We really appreciate it. A cylindrical tank has a radius of 5 feet and a height of 10 feet. How many gallons of water can the tank hold? Note, 1 cubic foot equals 7.48 gallons. Pi is 3.14. A. 5,600 gallons. B. 5,872 gallons. C. 6,000 gallons. D. 6,200 gallons. For this question, we are finding the volume of a cylinder. The formula for finding the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. This formula will be given to you on the GED. We place our values in. Volume equals pi, which is 3.14 times r squared. The radius is 5, so we have 5 squared. Then we have times h. The height is 10, so we have times 10. We work this out on the calculator to get 785 cubic feet. We can see that our answer choices are not in cubic feet, so we have to convert it to gallons. Converting units is one of the most important things on the GED math. Let's set it up. We write the value we want to convert. In this case, the 785 cubic feet. Then we take the conversion factor. We want to write it in a way that the cubic feet will cancel out. So for this, we will write the 7.48 gallons on top, then divide it by the 1 cubic foot. Since it's dividing, the cubic feet will cancel the cubic foot. We have 785 times 7.48. This is 5,871.8. Rounding it up, we have 5,872. The correct answer is therefore option B. Find the slope of the line passing through the points 2, 4, and 6, 5. A. 1 over 4. B. 1 over 2. C. 1. D. 2. Slope questions are a crucial part of the GED math test. We will look at various forms in the course of this video. Please take note of all of them so you can pass the GED math. To find the slope of a line given 2 points, we will use the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Formulas are given on the GED, so don't worry too much about it. Please note that you can call any of the point 1 or 2. I'm choosing this as 1 and this as 2. We know that when you have a point, the first value is your x, and the second value is your y. Since we are calling this point 1, we will have x1, y1 here. Same thing for this. Since we are calling this our point 2, we can call this x2, y2. We just put the values into the formula. We have 5, which is y2, minus 4, which is y1, divided by 6, which is x2, minus 2, which is x1. We simplify. 5 minus 4 is 1, over 6 minus 2, which is 4. So the slope is 1 over 4. The correct answer is A, 1 over 4. The data below represents the number of hours students spent studying for a math exam. Which bar chart correctly displays the frequency of hours spent studying? To pass the GED, you must be able to identify graphs that represents a set of data given or vice versa. The work here is just being careful, making sure you don't make mistakes. We will tally the numbers and check which graph is represented. I like to check the graph after each tally so that I don't have to tally everything if it's not needed. Let's start with the 2. There are 1, 2 2s. We can see that only option A has a frequency of 2. So option A is the correct answer. We can verify by tallying the 3. There are 5 3s. Only option A has the frequency of the 3 to be 5. So we know that option A is the correct answer. Given the function g of x equals the square root of 5 minus x, for which values of x is the function g of x undefined? A. When x is greater than 5. B. When x is less than 5. C. When x is greater or equal to 5. D. When x is less or equal to 5. There are 2 conditions that makes a function undefined. 1. A function is undefined if the denominator of the fraction is 0. Example, 5 over 0 is undefined. 2. A function is undefined for the square root of a negative number. Example, the square root of negative 9 is undefined. For this question, the function will be undefined for the square root of a negative number. So we want an x value that will make the value in the square root negative. You do not need to do any major calculation for this question. Let's look at our options. Option A says, when x is greater than 5. We pick a number that is greater than 5 and test it. We can use 6. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Since we have a negative number, option A is correct. Let's look at the other options. Option B is obviously wrong. Option B says, when x is less than 5. We pick the number 4 and test it. 5 minus 4 is 1. This is not negative, so it is wrong. Option C is what confuses a lot of students. Option C says, when x is greater or equal to 5. The first part, the greater than, is just like option A, so that part is true. But the equal to part is false. If we pick 5, then we have 5 minus 5, which is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. This is not negative. Option D is obviously wrong because it has less than, just like option B, so the correct answer is A, when x is greater than 5. David is renting bicycles for a group trip. The rental shop charges $12 per bicycle and a $50 flat fee for the day. David's total budget for the rental is $410. What is the greatest number of bicycles he can rent? A. 28. B. 29. C. 30. D. 31. To pass the GED, you have to know how to get two-step equations or inequalities from a word problem and solve it. We look at the four main kinds in our GED math course. This one is the most common kind. There are three values: the total, the variable or revolving, and the fixed. For this question, we are told the total is $410. The variable value is associated with words like per or anything that implies repetition. Example, daily or each, and so on. Here, this is $12 per bicycle, represented as 12x. The third value is your fixed value. Here, it is $50 flat fees. The greatest number of bicycle David can rent must be less or equal to the total amount of money he has. He will not be able to pay for anything beyond $410. Now that we have our setup, let's solve it. Subtract 50 from both sides. The 50 will cancel out. 410 minus 50 is 360. Now we divide both sides by the 12. The 12 will cancel out. 360 divided by 12 is 30. So x is less or equal to 30, meaning greatest number of bicycles David can rent is 30. Therefore, the correct answer is option C. We've covered the solution here, but there are some interesting twists, and even a shortcut method for solving this type of question. If you're curious to explore more, check out the links in the description or pinned comment for a deeper dive. Simplify the expression. 4x squared minus 9 divided by 2x plus 3. A. 2x minus 3. B. 2x plus 3. C. 2x minus 1.5. D. 2x plus 1.5. To solve this question, you have to understand the difference of two squares. The term difference of squares involves subtracting one perfect square from another perfect square. Example, a squared minus b squared. The solution to this will be a plus b times a minus b. Please note that this applies only if the sign here is minus. For this question, the first work is to identify that 4 can be written as 2 squared, and 9 can be written as 3 squared. Because 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. 2 squared x squared can be written as 2x squared. So we have 2x squared minus 3 squared. This is the difference of two squares. We can write this as 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. This is divided by 2x plus 3. Since there's 2x plus 3 in both the numerator and denominator, they can cancel out. What is left is 2x minus 3. So the correct answer is option A, 2x minus 3. A movie theater charges $10 for an adult ticket. A child ticket costs $5 less than an adult ticket, and a senior ticket costs $2 more than an adult ticket. Write an expression for the total cost of 3 adult tickets, 2 child tickets, and 4 senior tickets. To pass the GED math, it is important that you are able to translate word into algebraic expressions. Let's look at this sentence by sentence and see what we can extract. From the first sentence, we are told an adult ticket cost $10. Next, we are told a child ticket cost 5 less than an adult ticket. Less than means subtraction. Since we know an adult ticket is T, we can say that a child ticket will be T minus 5. Please note this. A lot of students make the mistake of writing this as 5 minus T, which is wrong. We have a free expression video, which we will link below. Check it out if you want to learn more and download the expression sheet. Next, we know that a senior ticket costs $2 more than an adult ticket. More than means addition. We know an adult ticket is T, so a senior ticket will be T plus 2. We are supposed to write an expression for the total, so we know we will be adding. We have 3 adult tickets, 2 child tickets, and 4 senior tickets. So we will have 3T plus 2 times the quantity t minus 5 plus 4 times the quantity t plus 2. The correct answer is therefore option A. Let's mention a few twists that are possible on the GED. First, you can be given the actual total and asked to find cost of an adult, child, or senior ticket. Secondly, expression questions can be in the form that requires another knowledge. You can have a question like, what is the average cost of a ticket? Or what is the ratio of child tickets to senior tickets? Here, you have to know how averages or ratio works to write the correct expression. Let us know in the comment section if you'll want us to solve these questions and give more practice questions on them. Question 10. Find the length of the side marked x. When you see this mark on a triangle, it means it's a right triangle. Right triangles have this angle being 90 degrees. When you have a right triangle, you can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the sides. This formula will be given to you on the GED. Hypotenuse, which is the long side squared, equals a squared plus b squared, where a and b are the two other sides. Here, the long side or hypotenuse is what we are finding. So we have x squared equals 4 squared plus 3 squared. 4 squared is 16 and 3 squared is 9. We add them. 16 plus 9 is 25. To find x, we will find the square root of both sides. This will cancel out. Square root of 25 is 5. Therefore, x equals 5. Please note that most questions can be converted to word problems. Let's look at a word problem similar to this. Question 11. A pole, which is 4 feet tall, casts a shadow 3 feet on the ground. What is the distance from the top of the pole to the end of the shadow it casts? When it comes to solving geometry word problems, your diagram is one of the most important things. Let's get a diagram. So this is our pole, which is 4 feet. This is the shadow it casts, which is 3 feet. We are supposed to find the distance from the top of the pole to the end of the shadow. Let's call this x. We see that we have formed a right triangle. Now, this question is just like the previous. You can try it out yourself. We can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve it. This formula will be given to you on the GED. The hypotenuse, which is the long side, squared equals a squared plus b squared. Here, the long side or hypotenuse is what we are finding. So we have x squared equals 4 squared plus 3 squared. 4 squared is 16 and 3 squared is 9. We add them. 16 plus 9 is 25. To find x, we will find the square root of both sides. This will cancel out. Square root of 25 is 5. Therefore, x equals 5. So the distance from the top of the pole to the end of the shadow is 5 feet. What is the slope of the line below? A. 1. B. -1. C. -2. D. 2. The correct answer is B. -1. The slope of a line is the change in y over the change in x. We know that the change in y simply means how many points you are going up or down. If you are going up, then you have a positive change. If you are going down, then you have a negative change. The change in x simply means how many points you are going to the right or left. If you are going to the right, then you have a positive change. If you are going to the left, then you have a negative change. Let's look at our question. Our first step will be to choose any 2 points on the line. I am choosing these 2 points. Let's call it A and B. You can choose any 2 points on the line. However, it is important to choose points that will make your work easier. Choose points whose x and y values can be easily determined. Normally, points at the corners are best. Now to find the slope, all we are doing is moving from one point of the line to the other on the slope triangle. Let's move from B to A. We moved down 2 points. Notice moving down is negative. So we have negative 2 here. Then we will move to the right 2 points to get to A. Notice that moving to the right is positive. We have 2 here. Negative 2 over positive 2 is negative 1. So our slope is negative 1. Notice that our first movement is always change in y, that is moving up or down, then our second movement is change in x. That is moving left or right. There are other ways we could have moved to get the same results. Check our other GED videos for more. Add the polynomials 5x exponent 4 minus 3x cubed plus x plus 7 and negative 2x exponent 4 plus 4x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 8. A. 3x exponent 4 plus x cubed minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. B. 3x exponent 4 plus x cubed minus x squared plus 2x plus 1. C. 3x exponent 4 plus x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 1. D. 3x exponent 4 plus x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 7. You can only add like terms in polynomials. Like terms have the same variable and exponent. I will quickly write all their different terms I see. I see an x exponent 4 term, an x exponent 3 term, and x exponent 2 term, an x term, and a constant term. A constant is basically just a number without letters. We write the terms of the first polynomial under their respective terms. Next, we write the terms of the second polynomial under their respective terms. Please note that the minus is the sign of the number after it. That is why we wrote negative 3x cubed. This is because of the minus 3x cubed in the first polynomial. The same idea applies to the negative 2x exponent 4, the negative x exponent 2, and the negative 8 from the second polynomial. Please note that you don't have to write your setup the same way I'm presenting mine. You don't even need a setup. The work is to use any method that will ensure that you add like terms and avoid errors. Let's add. For this addition, you can start from any term, provided you are adding like terms. I will start from the left. We have 5x exponent 4 plus negative 2x exponent 4. 5 plus negative 2 is 3. So we have 3x exponent 4. Next, we work on the x cubed term. Negative 3x cubed plus 4x cubed. This will give us 1x cubed, which is the same as x cubed. We work on the x squared term. There's only negative x squared. Nothing to add it to, so we have negative x squared. We work on the x terms. X is the same as 1x, so 1x plus 1x will be 2x. Then finally, we add the constant. 7 plus negative 8 is negative 1. So our answer is A. 3x exponent 4 plus x cubed minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. A bar graph shows the percentage of votes received by 5 candidates in a student council election. If 500 students voted in the election, how many votes did candidate C receive? A. 100 votes. B. 125 votes. C. 150 votes. D. 175 votes. Questions that deals with graphs and percentages are common on the GED. To solve it, we need to first know the percentage of votes candidate C got. From the graph, we can see that candidate C got 25% of the vote. If the total votes cast is 500, then all we need to do to find candidate A's votes is to find 25% of 500. 25% is the same as 25 over 100. Of in mathematics means multiplication. So we have 25 over 100 times 500. We compute this on the calculator to get 125. So the correct answer is B, 125 votes. Question 15. The slope of a line is 2. Which of the lines will be parallel to it? A. Y equals 3x plus 2. B. Y equals 2x plus 3. C. Y equals x plus 2. D. Y equals negative 1 over 4x plus 3. Lines with the same slope are parallel. Since the slope of the line is 2, we are basically looking for the answer which also has slope of 2. All the answers are in the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. That is, y equals mx plus b. We know that in this form the coefficient of the x, or simply put what is with the x, is the slope. Choice B has the coefficient of the x to be 2. That means it has the same slope of 2 as the question. Therefore, it's parallel. A line M passes through the point -2, 4 and has a slope of -2. Which of the following points also lies on the line M? A. -4, 6. B. -1, 2. C. 0, 2. D. 3, -2. Slope questions are also very common on the GED. We have a video on slopes. You can check it for more. For this question, we have been given a point and a slope. So we will start with the point-slope formula, which will be given to you on the GED. Y minus y1 equals m, in parenthesis, x minus x1. Our work is to change it to the slope-intercept form so that we can input the values in the choices. x1 and y1 are the values of the point you have been given, and m is the slope. We put these values into the equation. We have y minus 4 equals -2 in parentheses, x minus -2. Minus -2 can simply be written as plus 2. We expand. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 2 is -4. So we have y minus 4 equals -2x minus 4. We want the y to be on one side of the equation. We will add 4 to both sides. The 4 will cancel out. So we have y equals -2x. Now that we have the equation in the slope-intercept form, we can input our x values from the option and check if we will get our y value. Let's start with option A. The x value is -4 and the y value is 6. We have y equals -2 times -4. -2 times -4 is 8. It is not 6, so choice A is wrong. Let's check choice B. We input our x value. We have y equals -2 times -1. -2 times -1 is 2. This is the expected y value, so option B is the correct answer. The following graph represents the score range of students in a math class. How many students are in the class? A. 12. B. 14. C. 15. D. 17. Being able to read and interpret graphs is a must on the GED. Here, the x-axis represents the score range and the y-axis represents the number of students whose score are within that range. From the graph, you'll notice that there are 3 students whose score ranged from 61 to 70. From the graph, there are 5 students whose score ranged from 71 to 80. From the graph, there are 4 students whose score ranged from 81 to 90. From the graph, there are 2 students whose score ranged from 91 to 100. We add these to get the number of students. 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 equals 14. Therefore, there are 14 students in the class. So the correct answer is B. The following graph represents the score range of students in a math class. What percentage of students failed the test if the passing score is 71? A. 21.43%. B. 30.51%. C. 18.77%. D. 15.05%. Please, it's very important you master how to find percentages, especially from graphs. From the graph, we can see that 3 students scored 61 to 70. All the other students scored 71 or above. Percentage of students that failed will be the number of students that failed, which is 3. over the total number of students, which is 14, like we saw in the previous question. This will be multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. Compute this on the calculator to get 21.43% failed. The correct answer is therefore A. With what you just learned, you should be able to answer questions like what percentage of students passed and what percentage of students scored 71 to 80. Sarah received a graduation gift of $2,000 from her family. She decides to deposit this amount in a savings account that offers a simple interest rate of 3% per annum. She plans to leave the money in the account for 5 years while she attends college. How much will Sarah have in her savings account at the end of the 5-year period? A. $2,300. B. $2,500. C. $2,600. D. $3,000. The amount that Sarah will get at the end of the 5 years will be the initial amount she deposited, which is the principal, plus the interest gained. We know the principal as $2,000, so we need to calculate the interest and add it. Simple interest questions are basically formula work, and the formula will be given to you on the GED formula sheet. Simple interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. We just substitute our values into the formula and solve. Here, the principal, which is the amount she received and deposited, is $2,000. The rate is 3%. We convert it to the decimal form. 3% is 3 over 100. This is the same as 0.03. The time is 5 years, so we have times 5. We compute this on the calculator. 2,000 times 0.03 times 5 to get 300. So the interest the Sarah will receive is $300. We add our interest to the principal to get $2,300. Therefore, the correct answer is option A, $2,300. Simplify the expression square root of 2 times square root of 8 minus square root of 12. A. 4 minus 2 times the square root of 6. B. 4 plus 2 times the square root of 6. C. 2 times the square root of 6 minus 4. D. 2 times the square root of 2 minus 2 times the square root of 3. To pass the GED, you must be able to perform operations on exponents and roots or radicals. To solve this question, we have to multiply each term in the parenthesis by the term outside the parenthesis. We have root 2 times root 8. Since both values are under the root sign, you can multiply them and place the value under the root sign. 2 times 8 is 16. So we have root 16, same here. We have root 2 times root 12. 2 times 12 is 24. So we have root 24. Next, we check if we can simplify. To simplify roots or radicals, there are 2 things you are looking at. 1. Is the value under the square root sign a perfect square? Can it be written as a number times itself? 4 is a perfect square. That is 2 times 2. 9 is a perfect square. That is 3 times 3. 16 is a perfect square. That is 4 times 4. Hope you get the point. Here is a list of the first 10 perfect squares. 2. Can the number be written as a perfect square times another number? Example: 8 can be written as the perfect square 4 times 2. If you cannot use 1 or 2, then the radical cannot be simplified. Let's simplify our question. For the root 16, we can see that 16 is a perfect square. That is 4 times 4. So the square root of 16 is 4. For the root 24, we can see that it is not a perfect square. We find out if we can write it as a perfect square times another number. 24 can be written as the perfect square 4 times 6. We can find the square root of the 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So square root of 4 is 2. Since we did not find the square root of the 6, it will remain under the root sign. So we have 2 times root 6. Our final answer is therefore 4 minus 2 times square root of 6. The correct answer is therefore option A. Which of the graphs is a possible representation of the function y equals negative 3x plus 4? Here, there are no values on the graphs, so nothing to calculate. Option A and B are obviously wrong answers because they are parabolas or the graph of a quadratic function. For it to be option A or option B, the function must have x exponent 2. Both option C and option D are linear function. The slope of C is going up, so it's a positive slope. The slope of D is going down, so it's a negative slope. Now looking at the function, we see that it's in the form y equals mx plus b. We said in this form the m, or what is with the x, is the slope. Here the slope is negative 3. Since the slope is negative, the answer will be choice D. A pie chart shows the distribution of a student's study time by subject. If the student spends 40% of their time studying math, 30% studying science, 10% studying history, and the rest on other subjects, what percentage of their time is spent on other subjects? A. 5%, B. 10%, C. 15%, D. 20%. To solve this question, we need to calculate the percentage of time spent on other subjects. First, we add up the percentages spent on math, science, and history, which is 40% plus 30% plus 10%, resulting in 80%. Now to find the percentage spent on other subjects, we subtract 80% from 100% because the total percentage of study time is 100%. The total percentage in a pie chart is always 100%. This is 20%. So, the answer is D, 20%. The student spends 20% of their time on other subjects. Find the area of the figure below. To pass the GED, you must be able to work on composite shapes. To find the area of a figure like this, all you need to do is break the diagram into multiple shapes, find the area of each shape, and then add the areas. From the diagram, we can see that the figure can be subdivided into two separate shapes. That is a triangle and rectangle. The total area is the sum of the two areas. Let's first find the area of the rectangle. The area of a rectangle is given as the length times the width. Please note that all needed formulas are given on the GED, so no need to memorize. The length of the rectangle is 4, and the width is 5. Inserting the values, we have 4 times 5, which gives us 20. Now, we can find the area of the triangle. The area of a triangle is given as half times the base times the height. Here, we have not been directly given the base or the height. Another important skill for the GED is your ability to find missing dimensions from a given diagram. From the diagram, we can see that the base of the triangle is the same as the base of the rectangle. Therefore, if the base of the rectangle is 4, then the base of the triangle is 4. We can put the base value here. For the height, looking at the same diagram, we can see that the total height of the figure is 8. The height of the rectangle, also known as the width, is 5. Therefore, the height of the triangle is the total height 8 minus the length of the rectangle 5. This will give us 3. We have the area equals half times 4 times 3. We work this out on the calculator to get 6. To find the area of the composite figure, we will just add areas of the two figures. The area of the figure equals 20 plus 6, which gives us 26. What is the y-intercept of the graph? A. 1. B. -1. C. -2. D. 2. The correct answer is D. 2. The y-intercept is the point where the line meets the y-axis. This is our y-axis. The line meets the y-axis at this point. The value here is 2, therefore the y-intercept is 2. You could have been asked to find the x-intercept. This is simply the point the line meets the x-axis, so this will be that point. Therefore, the x-intercept is 1. A bag contains 8 red marbles, 6 blue marbles, and 4 green marbles. If a marble is chosen at random, what is the probability that it is blue? A. 1 over 4. B. 3 over 4. C. 2 over 9. D. 1 over 3. This is a very simple probability question. The probability of choosing a blue marble will be the number of blue marbles over the total number of marbles. Here, we have 6 blue marbles. We divide it by the total, which is 8 plus 6 plus 4. This will give us 18. We can reduce this. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 18 divided by 6 is 3. So the probability of choosing a blue marble is 1 over 3. Therefore, the correct answer is D. If a line has a slope of -2 over 3, what is the slope of a line that is perpendicular to it? A. -3 over 2. B. 2 over 3. C. -2 over 3. D. 3 over 2. The correct answer is D. 3 over 2. When two lines are perpendicular to each other, their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. Reciprocal here simply means flipping the numerator and denominator of the number. So 2 over 3 will be 3 over 2. The negative will simply change the sign. So here, since this is -2 over 3, we will have positive 3 over 2. We basically flipped the numbers and changed the sign. There's no need to write plus in front of a number, so the answer is D, 3 over 2. Please check out ultimateged.com for more twists to questions like this. Lot charges $10 for cars and $20 for buses. One day, 18 vehicles parked in the lot, and the total parking fees collected amounted to $260. How many cars parked in the lot that day? A. 6. B. 10. C. 12. D. 14. Let's set this up. Let's call the number of cars C and the number of buses B. We know that the total number of vehicles is 18. This means the number of cars C plus the number of buses B equals 18. The second equation we can get from this is the total fees collected. The number of cars that were charged $10 plus the number of buses that were charged $20 will be equal to the total number of fees collected, which is $260. From here, the correct way to solve it is by using simultaneous equations. You can check it out with links below or on ultimateged.com. We are just going to solve it using try and error based on the answer option. We know that the answer options are for the number of cars. We take option A. We have 6 cars. From the first equation, we know that the number of cars plus the number of buses is 18. So if we have 6 cars, then we will have 12 buses. Once we know our number of cars and number of buses, we can simply put that into the equation for the total fees collected and check if we get 260. So we have 10 times 6 cars plus 20 times 12 buses. This will give us 300. So this is wrong. We try option B. We have 10 cars. If we have 10 cars, then we will have 8 buses to get 18 vehicles. We put this values into the equation for the total fees collected. 10 times 10 cars plus 20 times 8 buses. We calculate this to get 260. This is the expected answer, so option B is the correct answer. Blueprint for a house has a scale of 1 over 4 inch equals 1 foot. On the blueprint, the length of a room is represented as 2 inches. What is the actual length of the room in feet? A. 2 feet. B. 4 feet. C. 6 feet. D. 8 feet. This is a typical proportion question. To solve it, we must set up our proportion. We are told that 1 over 4 inch equals 1 foot. So 2 inch will be x foot. We are using x to represent the unknown value we are finding. We can now cross multiply. 1 over 4 times x is 1 over 4x. And 2 times 1 is 2. We want to solve for x. We will multiply both sides by 4. The 4 will cancel out. 2 times 4 is 8. Therefore, the correct answer is D, 8 feet. The square root of 10 is between which of the following integers? A, 2 and 3. B, 3 and 4. C, 1 and 2. D, 4 and 5. Questions like this is now very common on the No Calculator section of the GED Math. The work here is to find the perfect squares that 10 is between. This is the list of the first 5 perfect squares. 10 will be between the perfect square 9 and the perfect square 16. The square root of 10 will therefore be between the square root of 9 and the square root of 16. So we'll find the square root of 9, which is 3. Then find the square root of the 16, which is 4. Therefore, the square root of 10 is between 3 and 4. The correct answer is B. On a coordinate plane, plot the following 4 points. A, -4, -3. B, -4, 2. C, 5, 2. And D, 5, -3. After plotting these points, connect them in the order A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A to form a figure. What is the figure formed? To answer this question, you have to know how to plot points on the coordinate plane and also identify shapes. Let's start by plotting our points. We know that on a point notation, the first value is your x value and the second value is your y value. So for A, -4, -3, the x value is -4 and the y value is -3. So this is our point. For B, -4, 2, the x value is -4 and the y value is 2. So this is our point. For C, 5, 2, the x value is 5 and the y value is 2. So this is our point. And for D, 5, -3, the x value is 5 and the y value is -3. So this is our point. We are told to connect the points in the order A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A. After connecting the points, we will notice that opposite sides are parallel and equal, and the angles are at 90 degrees. So this is a rectangle. The length of a rectangle is represented by 2x plus 1, and the width by x minus 3. Which of the following polynomial expressions represents the area of the rectangle? A, 2x squared minus 6x minus 3. B, 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. C, 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. D, 2x minus 6x plus 3. To solve this question, you have to be familiar with finding the area of a rectangle, and you must also know how to multiply and simplify polynomials. The formula for finding the area of a rectangle will be given to you on the GED formula sheet. It is length times the width. In this question, we are told that the length is 2x plus 1. We can put it in place of the length here. We are also told the width is x minus 3. We replace the width with x minus 3. Next, to find the area, we have to multiply these two polynomials. We will multiply each term in the second polynomial by the terms in the first polynomial. Multiply the 2x by x to get 2x squared. Then multiply 2x by -3 to get -6x. Now we take the second term. Multiply 1 by x to get 1x, which is the same as x. Finally, multiply 1 by -3 to get -3. The method we used is commonly known as the FOIL method. I am personally not a fan of most acronyms in math. They bring little benefit and can actually make students get answers wrong. Next, we check if there are like terms we can combine. We can combine -6x plus x to get -5x. There's nothing more we can combine. Our answer is 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. So the correct option is option B. We will end this video here. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to get the full course at ultimateged.com.